Watkins from yourblackworld.com. Today I wanted to take a second. I'm literally sitting around working, and this is Sunday night, and I was thinking about this brother that just died, from the group 3-6 Mafia. His last name was Dunnigan, and or you might have known him as Lord Infamous. Ricky Dunnigan was his full name. And, when he died, I thought that it would be, a little bit awkward to kind of talk about what I was really feeling when I heard that he died. I wasn't happy. I was sad for him. I felt bad for this brother. And I think that what I had to kind of think about and confront was the fact that I felt that this was kind of a trend that that you've got all these guys that are dying early after years and years of drug and alcohol abuse. Again, I'm not going to presume that that's why he died, but I know it's not natural to have strokes and heart attacks and all that stuff in your 30s. And he did. I know he had at least a stroke, maybe two. And you have other artists that are having seizures and strokes and all kinds of stuff in their 30s. Including Nate Dogg, Lil Wayne, Rick Ross, you have Pimp C who died, and the list kind of goes on and on. And then you have the brother from Criss Cross who died. I think he was really young, maybe 32. And here's the thing, I love hip hop. I've always loved hip hop. I mean, that's the only kind of music I listen to. If I don't listen to hip hop, I don't listen to music. And I've always felt that way. I like classical a little bit, but really it's hip hop, and that's pretty much it. And so it kind of breaks my heart to see these young artists, some of whom I think are very talented, really kind of get pumped into sort of working for corporate America and really creating music and creating messages that are devoid of any type of social responsibility. They will make the song and it'll be, it'll pretty much consist of the same formula. I mean, if you listen to a lot of hip hop songs, and within the first minute, typically you'll have some reference to being high and drunk. I stay high, I stay drunk, I get it turned up at the club, stuff like that. You'll have a reference to violence. It's not as bad as it used to be, but it's still there. If a nigga makes me mad, I'm gonna shoot him. And that, I guess, was just a reflection of the violence, the culture of violence that really grew primarily in the war on drugs and stuff like that during that era, which I hope that we're getting out of, but I don't think we are entirely. And you can just kind of go down the list. Of course, women are, they haven't been respected in music for 20 years. And what's interesting to me is that for many of these artists, their biggest fans are women. Women are the first ones to run to the dance floor when a song comes on, and it's amazing to me because I remember hearing one song where Lil Wayne said he would steal your girlfriend and then murder her and send her dead body back to you. And I mentioned to a girl, a young girl, maybe 29. I said, "This doesn't bother you?" And she said, "Oh, it's just music." Ha ha ha. She thought it was funny, and I don't think people understand that this music, especially when it hits the mind of a child, of like a 9-10-year-old boy, and he's repeating these lyrics. This is sinking into his subconscious. I mean, this is playing a huge role in how he sees women. If he sees women as being less than human, then he can't identify with a woman's pain when she's been raped or when she's been killed or beaten or whatever. So it's going to affect how he sees women, how he treats women. And so I think mothers who want their sons to be better men or to be better than the last man they dealt with, they have to understand how the messages, these messages, affect the way their sons see the opposite sex. But it goes beyond sexism. When I saw Lord Infamous in his story, I really started thinking about this sort of mass promotion of drug use. And, and a lot of it's, that purple shit people drink. Every brother feels like they have to smoke weed. Getting high and drunk is kind of a normal thing. Even in the case of Renisha McBride in Detroit, I mean, she was high and drunk. Her blood alcohol level was twice the legal limit, and she was acting pretty bizarre that night. So it's not a clear case as to what happened when she got killed. And I don't appreciate that. I don't like this culture. I don't like the fact that we take drug and alcohol abuse so lightly in our communities. I think many of us have seen alcoholics in our families. We've seen our lives destroyed by people as a result of drug and alcohol abuse. So why do we take it so lightly? When my uncle slash older brother died after decades of drug and alcohol abuse, that was one of the things that made me say I'm never going to touch that stuff because that stuff destroys you. I mean, he was a shadow of the man he could have been if he had never been introduced to marijuana or alcohol at an early age. So ultimately, it really bothers me when I see so many young kids from an early age repeating lyrics that are telling them consistently to get high and drunk all the time. As I mentioned this before, I mentioned this in the New Paradigm forums that we're doing around the country. I mentioned this in my Underground Railroad class, which you're welcome to sign up for. Um, you know, Nothing great has ever been accomplished by a group of people who spend all their time getting high and drunk every day. So if we really want black men to stand up, if we want better black men and we want to build a better black community, which starts with the man, I don't care what anybody says. We have a culture now where we want to annihilate the father. We want to annihilate the role of the male in the household, which is bullshit to me. No, if two people make that baby, a man and a woman, then two people need to be a part of that baby's life. And if one of them isn't there, we need to figure out why. Is it because he's being pushed away? Is it because he's walking away? Or is it both? What's going on here? Because that's not healthy for the child. But we're not going to go into that. But my point is that I believe that the emergence of the black community from the state that we're in, the struggles that we face, it's going to start with the building of families, the building of communities, and the rebuilding of the black man. And I think that a black man is always going to be better off. He's going to be stronger and tougher and more capable when he is educated, when he is economically responsible and intelligent, and when he's avoiding drugs and alcohol, at least in excess. I mean, if people drink, they can drink. I don't drink at all. I don't smoke, none of that stuff. But I don't necessarily, I'm not going to talk bad about people who do. I'm not going to shame you per se. But what I will say is that you don't have to do that. This culture that brothers are being exposed to that somehow makes them feel that to be a black man you got to be cool and chill and laid back and like you call your boy up on the phone and you say, what you doing, man? He said, nothing, chilling. No, I'm sorry. When I talk to young people and I ask them what they're doing, they say nothing. I say, no, don't tell me nothing. Tell me that you either just finished doing something, you're about to do something, or you're working on something right now that's going to build your future. Because when you sit around and you don't build your future, then guess what? You don't have a future. Your future is garbage. So understand this. If you're 27 years old and you don't have a job, well, maybe you don't have a job because no one will hire you because you didn't take the time to get educated. Maybe no one will hire you because you didn't take the time to learn how to start your own business. Maybe no one will hire you because you don't want to get up and work every day. And I'm not saying this is true for every brother. I'm not saying that at all. I mean, you have some brothers that work very hard, that are very well educated, that do all the right things and things don't work out. So even for them, it's very difficult. But when you are playing as a party to your own oppression, then that's a serious problem. And I think that's kind of where we are. And again, I'm not making this statement as a liberal or as a conservative. I think, as I told you, you saw my other article, liberals and conservatives can all go to hell. This is for free black people. This is not for the slaves. This is for black people who want to be free. Okay, the fellow runaway slaves, as I call you. The fact is that we've got to establish new paradigms of existence and thought as it pertains to the black male in America. We've got to really think about what we want black men to be. And we've got to understand that building a strong black man starts with how you shape a black boy. And guess what? If he gets shaped by listening to Lil Wayne and Lord Infamous and Pimp C and people that didn't make the best choices, that's not going to be good for his soul all the time. So I'm not telling you what to do when it comes to the music. I'm not even going to attack you if you enjoy the music. I think that even some of the more destructive artists are actually very talented and very intelligent. I will say that in a second. I'm not a hater of hip hop. I actually love hip hop. But I think that when you talk about these corporations that are making money by feeding our boys self-destruction, you got to think about why they're doing that. They're not doing that because they like you. They're doing that because they want to keep you enslaved. And if you are agreeing to that, then you're as pathetic as any KKK member that ever lived. I mean, the fact is that we're not going to get free by waiting for white people to free us or waiting for white people to do the right thing. You won't get respect if you're asking somebody to lift you up, give you a handout, or carry you. That's not going to work. You can't win a football game by having the other team give you points. And guess what? when you score enough points to win, the other team will never congratulate you. They will never validate you. They will never really acknowledge you as the great team that you are. They may not want to do that because guess what? They're your opponent. They're competing with you for something that they want themselves. So when you go out in this world and you're trying to get ahead and you're trying to succeed, don't wait for white folks to tell you that you're worthy. Don't wait for white folks to tell you that you're smart. Don't wait for white folks to give you an opportunity. You go create that opportunity. You go take what's yours and don't apologize to anybody for it. And then on top of that, when people who don't like you are educating your children through the public school system, which sucks for a reason, through the Clear Channel airways, where they're feeding your children weaponized psychological genocide for a reason, through the criminal justice system, which is designed to exploit and incarcerate us for a reason. When they've created all these systems to exploit you and effectively turn you into like cattle or KFC chickens that are pretty much born and raised so that somebody else can eat good, when they're doing all that to you and you're allowing them to do that to you, then you deserve everything you get. So if you want to know why I wrote this article about Lord Infamous, it wasn't to, as I mentioned in the article, I wasn't trying to step on the brother's grave. I wasn't trying to be an elitist and say that, oh, everybody who listens to hip hop is bad, because if that's true, then I'd be bad too, because I like the music. I try to understand the brothers. I listen to their lyrics. I analyze the lines. I mean, I understand where they're coming from. I'm not C. Dolores Tucker. But at the end of the day, we have to find a point of accountability. We have to find a point of intolerance. That means that we step up to places like Clear Channel and we say, you're not going to feed that shit to our children anymore. We're not going to let you do that. That is not going to happen on our watch, because guess what? The next generation's in our hands. What we do or choose not to do, there's always going to be a consequence. And if we don't raise our kids properly, if we don't protect our children from all enemies, foreign and domestic, then our children will become prey for a system that is designed to destroy them. They'll end up in an early grave like these brothers in hip hop. So that's all I want to say. And again, I'm not critiquing all the rappers. My favorite rapper of all time actually is Immortal Technique. He's in the top 5. He's right there with Ice Cube and Tupac and a couple other cats. I love Killer Mike. And again, these guys are not choir boys. They're not clean all the time. Sometimes they say stuff that's pretty offensive, but at the same time, these are guys that want black men to be stronger and not weaker. And that's what I want. I'm not with this agenda to make black men effeminate or to make black men into big wusses. I'm not into all that. I believe that black men need to be men, and I'm not afraid to say that. So call me politically incorrect, but that's what you're going to get. Well, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World. Please take care. God bless, and have a wonderful day. I will talk to you soon. Peace.